Let's normalize reading up on the art of seduction and actually figuring out what archetype suits us best. Because not everyone knows this, but not everyone can seduce in the same exact way. We all have different personalities and gifts that we were given. A lot of you requested this video, so here are the 9 art of seduction archetypes and also what it means to attract a certain archetype into your life. These are the art of seduction archetypes by Robert Greene. I'm not making these things up and they're not my own. You know that person that hurt you really bad that you keep trying to find in other people? Yeah, bestie, that's not your type, it's just your pattern. And we're gonna be using this concept throughout this video because what I want you guys to understand is there's a reason why you're attracted to different archetypes. While it's true that you can't really explain why you're attracted to certain features or what your type physically is, there often is a personality that you typically go for, even if you don't really have a type per se. So this video goes over your own archetype and it also goes over why you keep attracting the same exact people. Now, before we really get into everything, welcome, I'm Natalie. This is where I share ways I'm getting my shit together so that you can get your shit together. If that sounds good to you, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, besties, thank you so much. I'm almost at 10,000 followers on my Instagram, so if you'd like to see more lifestyle content and tune into more of me, go over there and check it out. I'm almost there. Thank you to everyone who has gone and checked out my ebook. I'm literally so grateful that you guys enjoy it. I've gotten so many positive reviews. There was an issue with the website, but the website should be back up and working, but email me if you guys have any questions or for some reason can't access it. I'm giving you guys this information for free because I genuinely want you guys to level up your life and become the best version of yourself. This video is a part 2 to my first seduction video, so go check that out if you haven't already. But remember, you guys, seduction isn't about manipulation or trying to change yourself into be something that you're not. It's simply about using your charisma and your inherent qualities in order to foster a genuine connection. Let's just dive right into it, and I'm gonna start with the most popular, which is the Siren. Sirens embody a magnetic physical presence and also encapsulate mystery into their persona to lure people in. They don't just have self-confidence, they have self-worth in the sense of they get what they want, regardless of what you think about it. The Siren radiates dark feminine energy, and dark feminine energy is not necessarily a look, it's literally just who you are. You have a sense of mystery to you because you don't let people know everything about you. This is precisely why Sirens are more popular than a lot of the other archetypes, because everyone wants to be her. Sirens have a mentality of, if there's nothing to be said, then I'm not speaking. Their energy speaks for itself. When they walk into a room, everyone looks at them. Now, in order to tap into this mysterious energy, you have to be a little bit secretive about who you actually are, especially if someone approaches you. They don't need to know what you were just doing or what you're about to do. Sirens have a way of saying things without really saying them. And some key phrases or micro habits you can do is say, "we'll see." This is a very feminine way to say, I don't really know if I want to go on a date with you. I can't really say yes, I can't really say no, but you're still giving this person hope. This hope will allow them to continue trying, but give you the space to make the decision you need. Next, practice soft movements. Let's say you're about to put your hand behind your ear. You don't want to rush your movement. You just want to slow down the way in which you do things. When you think Siren, think elegant. Speak with a lower tonality and also wear darker colors. I think Sirens oftentimes have darker colors, or they always have their nails done, or they have certain feminine features about them. Whether that's jewelry, whether that's their eyeliner, do whatever is authentic to you. Now, if you keep attracting Sirens in your life and they're not attracted to you, you might have a desire for escapism, because these types of women, and I'm saying women because this is more of a feminine archetype, these women often have this quality of you needing to constantly pour into them. So if you're a man who often attracts a Siren, this doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means you have to be aware of using this person as a means of escape, because they'll often make you feel really good, but then not necessarily give you all of your emotional needs right off the bat. You have to continue working to gain the respect respect of a Siren. Respect isn't automatically given. Next, we're gonna talk about the Rake. If you're a Rake, you know how to talk, okay? And this is a traditionally masculine energy, so oftentimes this is the salesman. This is a person who has charisma. They often make you laugh. They're unafraid to show interest and go after the things they want. They're the type of person, if they see someone they find attractive, they go up to them, they spark a conversation. If it doesn't work out, they're talking to someone else 5 minutes later. They're not shy by any means, and they also bounce back from rejection very easily. But this isn't something that they were born with, right? They weren't born with this ability to just take failure. It's because they put themselves in situations where they make themselves fail over and over and over again. And they get so used to pushing until they find a success, right? The best thing to do if you're a Rake archetype is to work on your storytelling abilities, because oftentimes when you have this natural inclination to communicate to other people, sometimes you just sound like you're talking, right? And nobody really cares what you're saying. The one way you can make people care about what you're saying is to make sure that when you're saying it, you're telling a story. I'd say the main downside to this archetype is you can sometimes be a yapper, and if you're not talking about anything of substance, some people might just say you talk too much. You can overwhelm people, especially if you're not asking questions about themselves. You can seem a little bit conceited or in your own world. In order to avoid that, train yourself to start asking active questions. Grasp onto topics that interest you. Also recognize that if you're a Rake and you're going for someone who doesn't really talk that much in general, you might find that talking to this person is like pushing a big rock up a hill. You're not really going anywhere and you feel like this person is resisting you. If someone isn't reciprocating your energy, you need to back off, and that's just the truth of any dating situation. A micro habit for the Rake is to practice thoughtful compliments. You can also record stories from your day or have specific stories that you tell people, or maybe certain pickup lines that you do in order to start talking to someone. Now ladies, if you are constantly attracted to this archetype, you need to look out for men who just talk and don't ever show you action. They might be really fun to hang around and will sell you a story, but at the end of the day, if their actions aren't really matching their words, you need to have enough strength to go your own way. Number 3 is the ideal lover. Now, I have a little bit of a bone to pick with this one because honestly, this is a fantasy. Like, a lot of people might think that they're the ideal lover, but in actuality, we all have our problems. We all have the things that are downsides to us. But this archetype often has a lot of emotional intelligence. You might have to look beneath the surface and see where you are overextending yourself. When you think of this archetype, think of Cinderella or Prince Charming, right? They have this image that they emulate, yet at the end of the day, when you get mad, when you get sad, when things don't go your way, you might get very, very frustrated or get in this really negative mindset because you decided to idealize a love that wasn't really there. Always take things slow, okay? Don't just jump into things, because oftentimes people are naturally love bombing, okay? That doesn't mean that they're thinking, oh, I need to love bomb this person. I don't think oftentimes when love bombing occurs that it's someone specifically plotting, I'm gonna love bomb this person. It can, but oftentimes it's based on mutual attraction and chemicals released in your brain. The main micro habits I suggest for the ideal lover is to make sure you understand your value. Don't just go all in on something that causes extreme emotions. If everything is reciprocated, then go in on it and love someone with your whole heart. Maintain healthy boundaries for the people you love. Be sure you're setting boundaries for those who you want in your life, because if someone can't accept your boundaries, they also can't accept your love. Love is boundaries. Love is being able to say, hey, I'm not okay with this. Now, if you want to paint yourself out to be the ideal lover, you just need to be yourself. Like, to be honest, like, I don't feel like you need to change the way you look in any way, because you are the ideal lover to someone somewhere. Remember that you are the prize. Even if you are a man, like, okay, I know a lot of girls are like, men aren't the prize, which, yeah, it's true, because some of these men want to be chased and want to receive, right? But others are actually good men, right? And we have to realize that good men are also the prize. I know some girls in the comments are gonna be like men aren't prizes. Like, honestly, if you're a good person, you are a prize, period, okay? Argue with your mom on that one. I don't care. Number 4 is the dandy, and this one's a little bit more gender neutral, but you're funny, okay? You are unapologetically yourself. You don't try to paint an image of what someone wants you to be. The dandy breaks conventional norms, and by doing that is magnetic. The one TikTok trend that this reminds me of is the hear me out cake. I feel like the hear me out cake is the perfect example of dandy.
Hear me out? Yes. That's my favorite. Okay, wait. Hear me out, Stuart the Wait, can I go? No. My next one is Kai from yes!
Basically, people are like printing out characters and saying hear me out because they're attractive, and nobody really understands why is this person attractive. They don't seem to have anything conventionally attractive to them, but they are still somehow attractive to people. One thing I love about dandies is y'all make people question their whole existence. By looking at you, people are like, you're mid, you're this, you're that. They might like put labels on you, but then actually talking to you, all of a sudden people are attracted to you, and they don't seem to understand why, and it's literally because of your confidence. And because of that, you often reflect other people's insecurities, because they'll meet you and they'll have some type of idea of who they are, but then they'll talk to you and they're like, wait, like this doesn't make any sense. Why do I feel like they have more confidence than me? Some micro habits that the dandy can do is number 1, choosing to wear something you know is out of style, but you don't care because you like it. Wearing whatever you want, dressing however you want, doing whatever you want, and saying, who's gonna say anything about it? Who are you to tell me what to do with my life? Very dandy. I love that. Number 2, also wear a Halloween costume that's funny. Like, I feel like y'all are the type of people to go to a Halloween party with the most ridiculous outfit, and everyone approaches you and decides to interact with you because you just radiate this funny energy. You bring people in just simply by being yourself. Number 5 is the natural. If your archetype is the natural, it just simply means you have a childlike innocence to you. You're a spontaneous person, and you often bring out the inner child in people. You make people want to be creative. You make people feel young again. And you're typically not the type of person who wants to go out of their way and seduce someone. You kind of find romance a little bit gross sometimes. What you do like, though, is just having fun with someone. You tend to prefer hobbies that are more so creative or outdoorsy rather than social gatherings or networking events. You tend to stray away from that, and you also tend to like quality time with your partner a lot more. And yes, once in a while you'll have a romantic dinner, but you really like just staying inside and watching a movie. To channel this energy, I want you to just be the most playful version of yourself and be authentically yourself when you meet someone. And listen, the best way to find your match as this archetype is to go to functions that are similar to what your interests are. Oftentimes, you're going to find the person who loves you in an adventurous setting, going rock climbing, going to the gym. Some micro habits that can really help you is to do one unplanned activity. Also, share your emotions without filtering through them. Oftentimes, I feel like the natural will kind of hold back their emotions because they might be seen as weird or quiet. It's just more so they're to themselves, and when you do unleash this like childlike version of them, they are so fun to talk to and so fun to interact with. If you happen to be someone who continues to attract the natural archetype, one thing I'll say is heal your own inner child. Oftentimes, these people might be a little bit childlike or have some ways about them where they can't seem to grow up. The best thing to do if you keep attracting this type of archetype is to make sure that you're not trying to save someone, because although the natural is very playful and fun, occasionally the natural can avoid responsibilities and seem a little bit immature and childish. The best way to seduce as the natural is to accentuate your natural features. For example, with your eye makeup, you might put some highlight in the inner corners, and then also maybe use a white eyeliner to highlight your waterline. If you happen to be a guy and you are the natural, accentuate your features through the way you dress. If you sometimes come off childish, or you know, the way you look is a little bit more immature, you can kind of attract people who are not as mature as you. So changing up your style can really help that. Number 6 is the Coquette. Now, a lot of people have heard of the Coquette, and it's more of a feminine archetype. The Coquette masters the art of seduction by creating creating distance. So the Coquette, instead of the Siren, is a little bit more playful. Think flirty, fun, bright colors. Also, if you're trying to be more coquette, that doesn't mean you have to dress hyper feminine either. It's all about energy. So if you're trying to harness your coquette energy, you need to recognize that you are naturally really flirty. You might notice that when people talk to you, they naturally think you're flirting with them when in reality you're not. So if I were you, I'd use this to my advantage. Come and go as you please, and also let people know your boundaries. Coquettes can sometimes get into this habit of leading people on, and that's because you're not upfront with someone about what you're really looking for. It's okay if you're just looking to have fun. Balance attention with being independent. In order to create more intrigue, be sure to harness this energy and use it when you need it. A micro habit that I need you to harness is playing stupid. And I know this sounds a little silly, but it's actually to your benefit that people sometimes underestimate your intelligence. Because the Coquette is naturally feminine, oftentimes people will kind of see this bubbly personality and assume that, you know, this girl has nothing in her brain, right? Think of like Elle Woods. A lot of people assume she wasn't a law student, she was always super bubbly, maybe even a little bit annoying at times, but in actuality, she was on top of her game. She was a natural networker. She knew when to harness the power of playing stupid. People assume that it's your weakness, but in reality, you just know when to bring it out. For example, if you don't really want to do something, just pretend like you couldn't understand it. If you need help with something that you can't do on your own and somehow this big strong man is right next to you, just pretend like it's really hard for you to do and he'll just do it for you. And I understand if you're listening to this might seem like this crazy thing, but in reality, if you are an attractive woman, men will literally try to help you. Use it to your benefit. And obviously don't lead men on or anything. I'm just talking about in regular scenarios. For example, I was at a coffee shop the other day and I was charging my laptop, and my laptop was literally at the edge of the table. The charger was a little bit far from where I was sitting. This man right next to me literally just comes up. I don't say anything to him, and he scooches my table over for me so that my MacBook wasn't about to fall off. I didn't have to do anything, and men just decided to help me. Be grateful and say thank you when a man goes out of his way and helps you, because men are natural providers. They like to feel of use. Some cute little micro habits you can do as a coquette is, again, small, gentle movements, and also wearing bright colors. Also, softening your voice when you talk to someone of interest. And again, I'm not saying change yourself, I'm just saying accentuate your strengths. Number 7 is the charmer. Now, this is also gender neutral, but I feel like the charmer is a lot more like masculine in my personal opinion. The charmer's secret power is to make people feel seen and valued. If you happen to be this archetype, people often come up to you and tell you things that they've never told anyone. You'll get in long conversations with, you know, a random lady at the grocery store because people just like to talk to you. People often overshare to you and you just don't know why. And the truth is, it's because you're an active listener. You are a master of social grace. You can pick up on social cues that a lot of other people don't recognize. You never say anything to try to hurt someone's feelings, and you're often the mediator friend. You naturally make people feel at ease. You can diffuse tension like that. And while all of these are great qualities, sometimes people can use this against you. And I'm just saying this objectively, because sometimes when you're the listener friend or the therapist friend, people always come to you, but you don't really have someone to go to. So when it comes to a lover, what I really want you to see is, does this person listen to you? Does this person ask you about your day? Are you always the one that's reaching out to them? The more you can acknowledge when people reciprocate your own qualities, the easier it's going to be to find someone where you give them that full attention. My advice to the charmer is similar to the ideal lover in the sense that you need to be able to set boundaries and know when your love is necessary to give. Some of the darker aspects to the charmer is you might tend to hide the negative sides of you and always try to come off as easygoing even when you're under so much pressure. You can also be seen as like too good to be true, so the people that are attracted to you, they'll like kind of trauma dump on you. If you're attracted to the charmer and you feel like you're unhealed, you might have a complex of always trying to be saved, and the charmer might always have a complex of trying to save someone. Just beware of certain aspects like that, because in relationships, these patterns will repeat themselves. But micro habits for the charmer: if you want to really harness this energy, learn how to set boundaries. It's so important for the charmer because it can be easy for people to just talk, but you need to be able to have a reciprocating conversation with them. A micro habit that really helps harness this energy is to ask open-ended questions and to also just nod. Just be sure to use cues and open up your body language to show that you are interested in what the person is talking about. Maintain eye contact and match the tonality of the person's voice. Words of affirmation is literally what gets people every single time. And if you know how to stroke someone's ego, you know how to seduce them. Number 8 is the charismatic. The charismatic combines confidence with a compelling vision. This person not only has a story to tell, but a life to live. Oftentimes people look at this type of person as a public figure or a leader. If this is your archetype, you are very powerful, and oftentimes people follow you. What's different about this and the Rake is just more of like a low-key guy, right? The charismatic is someone that people often look up to. If you're constantly attracted to the charismatic, you often can go for people who are out of your league. But being the charismatic, you also have to recognize your own power. Oftentimes, people might underestimate you, or they'll come into your life with a certain expectation of what they want you to be, but due to your own obligations or your purpose in life, you can't meet up to their expectations of you. This can lead to letting people down or making people think that you're selfish for caring more about your business or your life path instead of their minor problems. On the downside though, these people can sometimes be emotionally draining because if you're a charismatic, you can't always be wrapped up in your own world. A micro habit that I'd say to really harness the charismatic energy is to always break out of your comfort zone. And I know that's not like a micro habit, but do it in small ways. Whether that's sparking up a conversation with a random stranger or doing just a little bit more in the gym, this mindset shift will have anyone who is a charismatic be more successful. You might also always flex your lifestyle if you're a charismatic, if that makes sense, because these people tend to already have success, but it's more so success in an author type of way or a public figure type of way or a politician type of way, not success as in fame. If you keep attracting this type of person, it's not like a bad thing, but recognize what they come with. And number 9 is the star. Now, I debated leaving this archetype in, but since it's in the book, I decided to. The star is obviously a famous person of some sort, but in my personal opinion, I don't think it has to be someone famous, especially nowadays with influencers. You just have this star quality. When I say you walk into the room and everyone looks at you, like, that is star energy. They stand out while also remaining relatable. Now, the downside is a lot of people think they fit this, but actually don't. Influencers nowadays aren't actually relatable anymore. And I know I'm saying this as a YouTuber, but I really do try to remain authentic on my channel. Something you must recognize is that you are no different from anyone else. Although you do have differences, that doesn't make you better or worse. We are all human at the end of the day, and just because you have a certain level of fame or money or status doesn't mean that you should get more benefits. And we can go into that topic in another video because I do think it's fascinating how we as humans put people on a pedestal. But on another note, I feel like you should still harness your star qualities with these micro habits because in reality, we all have star qualities. Think about a hobby you were interested in as a kid. For example, I used to play guitar. I used to always dream about, being a superstar, things like that. Connecting back to things that you used to really enjoy and enjoying more of the process of it rather than the external validation you get can allow you to be more secure in yourself over time. Harness the Marilyn Monroe effect I was talking about in the first video. Just decide that you are going to be the best version of yourself and act in that way, because by doing that, you are confirming with the universe who you're trying to become. With that being said, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to like this video, subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what you related to. Please don't take anything too seriously. I think at the end of the day, it's important to be yourself and harness your own seductive qualities. Feel sexy, feel like you can be yourself, feel beautiful, and I love you guys so much. I'll see you guys next week.